Onto a rather sad development, an 11-year-old girl has been carried away by floodwaters following heavy rains in Koforidua on Tuesday. Our Eastern Regional correspondent Yvonne Nikwe reports that the incident occurred at Town, a suburb of Koforidua.
I'm currently at Town, Alafia, where an unfortunate incident occurred yesterday in the afternoon. An 11-year-old girl was carried away by the flood when she was returning from school. We gathered that she was in the company of her friends returning home. They played with the flood that have flew over the banks of the Isukam section here. The body has still not been found. The relatives and NADMO are still in search of the body. We're hoping to find it. For the past days and weeks, it's been raining heavily in Koforidua and its suburbs. Large volumes of rainfall overflowing vulnerable parts of the municipality. Residents were hoping that the Untitled drainage project would have mitigated against the flood, but that has not yet happened. They're hoping that before the project is 100% complete, city authorities of the New Job and South municipalities will take the defects into consideration and consider other areas as well. From Town, Alafia, Yvonne Nikwe report. The ending question.
A development there. Well, the New Job in South Municipal Chief Executive Isaac Apau Jesse has been speaking about some measures put in place by the Assembly to tackle floods in the area.
Is that some of the pond that we created to reserve the water and release it slowly, the pond is a bit high, and therefore going forward we are writing a report so we can submit it to the consultant for them to make amends. I believe that, but for the Nsukka drainage system, we would have had very serious consequences as a result of the rains we had yesterday. And even today, it's been massive. It has rained all day, but we haven't heard of any flooding along the Nsukka basin. That should tell you that it was a wise investment that we made as a municipality. Unfortunately, when you go to the downstream, going through Nyamikrum, that is where we have heard there has been some flooding into certain homes.
Yvonne Nikwe is joining us from the Town area in Koforidua for the latest on that particular story. Yvonne, tell us if the individual, the young girl, the 11-year-old, has been found yet by the search party.
Well, Kobla, as I said to you, the search party is back home. The body of the young girl has not been found. It looks like they would want to take a rest and then return back to the place. Of course, NADMO and its zonal officers are also on the work, ensuring that they are able to find the young lady dead or alive before the close of the day.
And from your interaction with residents in that neighborhood, do you get the sense that this young girl was around the vicinity where she's thought to have been when the rains came? Hello, Yvonne.
Hello, Kamla.
Yes, I'm asking, from your interaction with the neighbors in this neighborhood, do you get the sense that the young girl, the 11-year-old, was in the neighborhood at the time the rains came?
Well, from the interaction I had with them, the young lady had closed from school and she was returning with a sibling and other colleagues to the house. At that particular point in time, it had rained heavily, and so the Nsukka section of the river had overflowed its bank. They played with it, and it was causing her to slip into the river. How come she was carried away by the river? Okay.
Tell us about what the Assembly has been doing about buildings and other properties that are sited in waterways, for example.
Well, unfortunately for several of these areas, they have been flood prone. Anytime there are lists of rain, the areas get flooded, and unfortunately people's properties have to be carried away. We were hoping that the Nsukka basin drainage project would mitigate against the floods that are coming, but of course it hasn't been possible for them. For the houses that are on the waterways, here again, year on year since we have had flood occurring and the New Job and South municipalities, there haven't been any political will by MPs that have come and gone to raise them down. We can't tell if they can't see whether it's a technical problem or an issue that they should tackle to ensure that we don't have these cases reoccurring again.